7:13. Our first guest is one of the top mediums in Connecticut and a personal friend. Sydney Sherman joins us to explain how you can channel your own abilities to reach out to the spirit world. Welcome, Sydney. Now talk about how we can use our senses to connect with dearly departed loved ones.
Well, the first thing you have to do is get rid of all the preconceived notions that all of us have of what it's like to actually be dead. So what I do is I actually teach people, I do a lot of education on what they can do to notice whether something is legitimate spiritual activity or if it's something that's in the environment. So I started workshops, and I can demonstrate, if Sam would mind coming over here.
Oh, Sam's here.
Sam's here.
Yes, he makes a good prop.
He does.
That's right.
And he's got a lovely leopard skin scarf. So what we do in the workshop is we do a thing called what's called matrixing. So Sam, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold something under your nose. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what it is until you pull this up here. And you tell me, does this smell like a fresh cigarette or one that's been smoked?
Fresh?
Fresh cigarette? Okay, take that off. It's a tea bag.
It's a tea bag. So.
And the reason that we do this is because we mistake sense, touches, sights all the time. We mistake them for something else. Our brain matrix it. So the reason why I had Sam demonstrate that is because sometimes people say they think they smell their loved one.
Okay.
And they need to understand that it might actually be a smell in the environment and that their brain is matrixing. So that's one of the tests that you can do.
Because smell brings us back a lot of memories, too.
It does. And
it?
Smell is also situated with our emotions, so it can bring back a lot of the things like that. The other thing I tell people to do is take a very light washcloth, like this little cheap one I have here.
Okay.
Put your hand out. Lay it across your hand, and that's actually the kind of weight that you would feel when a spirit or a loved one comes close to you. It's approximately that weight.
Very, very light.
Very light.
But you can feel it.
You can feel it.
Okay.
And the other thing I brought little Jeff.
Oh boy.
See little Jeff? And what you can do is you can
Unfortunately, he looks just like me.
See a little smile? What I teach people to do is, you like that?
Yeah.
That's you. What I teach people to do is, you know, when you're kids and you're at a party, you'll rub it on your head.
Oh yeah, to get that static.
Right, and then you hold it over the part of the body, the face, the hands, or whatever, and you can tell that stimulates the senses.
It'll pull the hairs up a little bit.
Yep, and that's actually what it feels like when the loved one comes close to you as well. So we do all these little props, and we show them how to kind of mimic the loved one coming toward them, so they can learn how to really experience it for themselves.
Now, I know that you have several books out, including Gifted Innocence,
Yes.
A Parent's Guide for Spiritually Gifted Children. So can children actually learn? I mean, you were talking about this. Can children learn to sense or maybe tap into their own abilities to connect with dearly departed?
They can. The problem is that unlike myself, I was very fortunate. I had people around me who were able to help me. But children nowadays, if they don't know what it's like to feel, if they see things that don't make sense to them, where are they going to go get for their information? It's not like puberty where they'll go find out from their friends if you don't tell them the right thing.
Or just online like everybody.
Or just online. You don't want them to have the wrong information.
Right.
So I wrote the book Gifted Innocence, and this is for adults on how they can recognize if they have a truly gifted child. And it takes them through the different segments, infant, childhood, adolescence, and things like that. It's behaviors you're looking for, things that they're doing that is slightly different that may lead you to understand whether they're gifted or not, because they're going to need help.
Incidentally, and just sort of breaking off for a second, our producer Harris was just telling me we actually have video. You don't typically go and look for video of ghosts or that type of thing because it's very rare, but I think we're going to roll this video of something used, and it's very subtle in that doorway there, in that dark area. What happens there?
Well, this is an investigation that Connecticut Ghost Hunters did, and what happens is you can actually see a face slowly coming into the door and moving back, and that's why it's looped over. It comes in, and it pulls back. That's the still shot.
That's the still shot of
and
it.
you can see
It's
the
very
face.
subtle.
You
Yep.
can see the orbit of the eye and the nose and the mouth.
Closer to the top than the bottom,
Right,
sort of above center.
Right, and I teach that also in workshops on what to look for in photos when you capture it to know that you're actually capturing something spiritual and not something part of the environment.
Because oftentimes, and you've told me that dust, people will mistake dust particles sometimes for or something
Right, and
like
they call them orbs, and it could be moisture, it can be reflections of light, and it could be dust, absolutely. And that's not our loved ones. And the whole thing that I try to do is to teach people to get rid of the stuff that you think might be your loved ones and pay attention to the stuff that's going around you that you're missing. So that's what I do with my books. I'm all about education. I also do dinners. I have one coming up actually at the Griswold Inn on September 18th.
Okay.
It's called Dinner with Sydney. I love the Griswold Inn's part of history. That's in Essex.
Yep.
And we have a dinner. You have a lovely meal. You get a signed copy of the book. And I do a lot of educating to people on what it is that they can look for in their own lives every single day that they're missing. It's the simple things.
Now you, just to give people a little bit of background about you, you were, from birth, you were able to see people, I guess,
Correct.
That the rest of us, most of us, don't see. So,
Right.
and for example, you've told me at times that you have gotten little visits from my father, who
Yeah.
died 5 years ago
Yeah.
or so. And I would, I wouldn't put it past him to pay you a visit and give you a hard time.
He's
or
here
something like
now.
that. What, is he here?
Yeah, I can smell him.
You can smell him.
Yeah.
But you can't, can you see him?
Not today, but I
Not
have
today.
before when I've been around you, but I can definitely smell him. So he's always with you.
That's interesting.
And his personality is almost identical to yours.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the poor guy.
Yeah, well.
Hi, Dad. Morning, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they are around you all the time, and that's just the point. They are there. They're trying to get our attention. We've got to hone in our own senses, using our senses to find out if they're there, and you can do that.
And you help people do that in your workshops to talk about how it is and how to delineate between what's real and what is maybe perceived but not the actual thing.
Correct.
How old were you when you realized that you were seeing people that not everybody else around you were seeing?
It was brought to my attention when I was 6 years old and I was in kindergarten, and I started talking in front of one of my classmates to a little girl who showed up next to me. And the little girl that I was talking to, the classmate, said there's no one there. So we got into a little argument about the fact that yes, she's there, and she's telling me no, she's not. So that's when I found out, because I ran home and I thought something's a little different about me, and that's when the doors were opened.
And we've got to get going, but I just want to tell you too, because I actually watched you speaking with a woman whose niece had come into the room.
Yes.
And watched this all unfold, whose deceased niece, and what a compelling moment that was, an incredible moment.
Yeah.
Sydney Sherman, check out one of her workshops. They're always standing room only. Got to check them out, and they're usually free of charge, right? Or at least your talks are.
The talks
But
are
the
free of
workshop-
charge.
Okay, gotcha.
And the website is sydneysherman.net, and you can email me at sydneyshermanauthor@yahoo.com.
Piece of cake, and you're local as well. We're going
I
to
am.
love that. For more information, go to WTNH.com, click on the On Air tab, pull down to the Good Morning Connecticut Weekend section.